Welcome to our program, Jump Into It. Welcome to Jump Into It, a podcast and life show to help people that want to jump into a better business and jump into a better life. Welcome. Today we have with me my co-host Anita, as well as a very special guest is Shani Patel. She's a naturopath and she's going to talk to us about the wellness industry, how she's launched a very successful business and how she's helping women to be able to have a healthier lifestyle and well-being. Thank you very much, Shani, for joining us on Jump Into It.
I'm so excited to be here. And thank you so much, Anita and Gabrielle, for this amazing opportunity.
Wonderful.
We're so happy to have you.
We're happy, right? We want to know how to be healthier, and we want to know for all those listeners how to have a more successful business in this very competitive space. You can tell us a little bit more about that. Why don't we start with our first question? Tell us about how you built your practice, how you chose this profession.
Yeah, so that is really based on my personal journey. So years ago, when I was a young girl, I had my own female reproductive health concerns. I had my own gut issues. I had skin concerns. I had really bad acne. I had period pain, period irregularities, gut like bloating and anxiety and things like that. And even though I loved my family doctor, she was amazing, I just felt like there was something missing in my healthcare approach. I just felt like there had to be something else that was going to fit all those puzzle pieces together and give me a little bit more clarity on what's causing all my symptoms. So from there, I went into undergrad and university, and I was really passionate about physiotherapy. Unfortunately, I didn't get into physiotherapy school, but that opportunity just kind of gave me insight that it wasn't physiotherapy I was passionate about, more so holistic health. It was really seeing how the muscles and the tendons and the bones, how everything talks to one another, how it's all connected. And from there, I started to really look into my field of naturopathic medicine. And I went into the open house. I went with my mom, and she looked towards me and she's like, I think this is what you were meant to do. And at that moment, I felt like it was truly my calling, because what it stood for and what it really preached to everybody was that we are figuring out the root cause of your health concerns. So why are you bloated? Why do you have acne? Why do I have irregular periods? And I started my naturopathic journey in my medical school in Toronto. And from all that education, all that amazing information I was learning about, I was able to treat my own health concerns. So I fixed my periods, I fixed my acne, I fixed my gut issues, and I felt so empowered in this moment that if I'm able to heal my own health concerns, I can help my patients do the same thing and help them achieve their health goals. And from there, I have started to help my patients feel better, achieve their health goals, and live the life that they always wanted. And that's what motivates me to wake up every day and do what I want to do.
Oh, fabulous. And maybe for our listeners, explain what naturopath is, because you're actually a doctor, right? You're defined as a doctor. So, right?
How much education? Sorry, I want to add. I want to throw that into that question. Can you share, because that's a good point. You're a doctor, and I think the misconception is that a naturopath may not have a long education or what have you. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about, well, how did you get there, and how many years, and did you go to?
Of course,
right. And how do you end up being a doctor from it, right?
So I did have to do an undergrad. I did my undergrad in honors biology. You could have other undergraduates as well, but just having that science background definitely gave me a little bit more insight and helped me absorb all the knowledge and really understand the theories and the concepts. When I joined my naturopathic doctoral program, that's a 4-year program. So our last year is actually mainly just clinical, where we're doing a lot of clinical experience under supervision. We're seeing patients, we're treating them, and all of that is really just approved by our supervisor. And there is an option to do a residency as well. It's not mandatory, but there is an option to also do an extended residency. So it's about a 4-year to maybe a 6-year doctoral program. And yes, we are doctors as well. So we study all of the courses that a medical doctor would study. So immunology, endocrinology, microbiology, molecular biology, everything. But we also learn about all of the treatment modalities that we can prescribe as well. So herbal medicine, acupuncture, we do cupping, massage, chiropractic adjustments, Chinese medicine, nutrition, counseling, all that. So it's a very intensive program, very compact, but it's super enlightening and inspiring.
So are all naturopaths doctors? They all have to have a doctorate?
Yes.
Doctorate? Wow. So you have to go for an undergraduate, which is what, 2 to 4 years, and then another 4 to 6 years after that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's about 8 years in total.
I think I'd feel
So you're
comfortable knowing
qualified.
that. Exactly. I think I'd feel comfortable. So, Ishani, I would share that I've been, I'm sure Gabriella has too. I've been to naturopaths before, and I've done some of those therapies like cupping and the needles. Sorry, what was that called again?
Acupuncture.
I feel like there's so many great opportunities for wellness. Can you share some experiences, some stories around the challenges you've had in growing this kind of practice? Because it's a little bit different, right?
Before we jump into that, if you could still qualify, what is a naturopath? Because I haven't actually gone to one. I have gone to people that have done different parts of it, but I've not actually gone to someone like yourself that actually is a doctor.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Lee, absolutely. Such an important question. In the easiest ways, think of a medical doctor where we can diagnose any condition, we can treat any condition, we can order blood work, we can do physical exams, we can order functional testing. All of that's the same, but our approach is different in the sense where I'm trying to find out the root cause of your health concerns. And another misconception that a lot of people do have, or patients even bring into my practice, is that we're not based on scientific evidence. But that's actually false. We are. We focus on empirical-based science and empirical-based evidence care. So for all the treatments that we do prescribe and we recommend to our patients, it's based on scientific journals that have been researched, they've been proven to be effective, because we really want to make sure that we're giving the best treatments for our patients to help them feel better. So we use that in combination with traditional medicine. So that could be Chinese medicine, herbal medicine, herbs that have been studied for thousands of years, and we combine everything together to create the best plan for you.
Interesting. So, and you don't prescribe drugs, right?
So if a naturopath does have their prescribing rights, they actually can prescribe certain medications and do vitamin, like prescribe a higher vitamin D dose, for example, do B12 injections. So yes, they can, but they would just have to get their prescribing rights and do the pharmacy exam.
Wow. So I'm so impressed. I really am. I thought you were more like a dermatologist, you know, more within a tighter range. So your focus is much broader and much more grounded in actual science than I think maybe a lot of people would understand. So sorry, Anita, your great question that's to follow was about the growth of the business.
Well, just getting into this space, I'm sure in the last 10 years, it probably is a bit of a different path than obviously going into a hospital or clinic. Share with us, and I think you probably bring other practitioners into the mix. It's not just you in your business. What made you go into growing your own business maybe versus going to work for someone else?
That's a really great question too. So I actually am working out of a few clinics in Toronto. That's actually the practice that I have chosen to do for myself, and I found it to be the best fit for me. So what that would entail is that I am actually I'm building my practice, working with other healthcare practitioners in a multidisciplinary clinic. I have my own clinic space and I have a set schedule, and the clinic is helping me with promoting me and helping me book my patients in while I'm also doing the same thing. I love that environment, to be honest with you. I've always been a team player. I love working with other people. I just love being around people who we all believe in the same goal and we care about our patients. So having an amazing team on my side makes the journey worthwhile. And in terms of building my practice, I have been in practice for about 3 years now, almost 3 years. And in the beginning, just like every entrepreneur, it's a little bit scary, right? It's scary. It's nerve-wracking to put yourself out there. You're fresh out of the gate and you have like mixed feelings. You're a little bit worried if it's going to be worth it. And in the beginning, I did have fears about that. I felt at moments like I wasn't good enough or I was doubting myself. But that really took time. But I was very blessed to have amazing mentors. I worked with another ND at my clinic, and actually another clinic, I had another ND who I looked up to, who I was able to discuss complex cases with, really kind of navigate certain approaches. So I felt more confident in my skin. But also, I started to believe in myself because I had to say that I am a doctor. I am educated. I have I know that I'm competent and my patients are in great care because I care so much. I really use that as positive affirmations to really put myself out there. And from there, I have done so much work in promoting myself in my business. I have marketed, I've networked with amazing people. I have also just been on social media, connecting with others. I'm doing everything I can to really help my practice grow.
Fantastic. I love your energy. You know, you have amazing energy. If I'm having an ailment, I would love to speak with someone like you because you are really, I feel invested in really helping. And I'm not sure everybody has that immediate connection and feeling of trust. Now, I have a question. The business side of things. How does that work? You get the clients in, or they get the patients in, and maybe you bring the patient in, or somebody just calls up from the website, and then you service them. And then how is the compensation? Are you sharing it, or is it like how's the I think of hair salons, and this is really a downgrade from it. Like you pay for a seat.
So every clinic is different. There are some clinics where you might need to rent out a space. So you rent out your space and that's basically your room. No one else uses it. What I'm doing is I'm using a clinic space, but other practitioners are using it as well. So I may have another ND that uses my office when I'm not there. But my compensation, where a lot of healthcare practitioners are very similar, is that there's a split. So what that means is that for a visit price, for example, the majority would come to me and there's a minority that would go to the employer, which in this case is the clinic. So that's how the compensation would go. And we would just work together on bringing patients in, getting awareness of what I do, and helping the clinic grow and myself grow as an entrepreneur.
So it is a partnership. You're walking into to a partnership. And if you have many different clients, you have many different partnerships that you're managing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very lucky that my team is great. I love my team. They're truly like my rock. They've helped me through this process. So I'm truly grateful for all of my clinics.
And how many clinics are there?
I'm actually part of 3 clinics, but temporarily I'm actually covering for someone's mat leave until November. So temporary 4. But again, love the teams that I'm part of.
Wow, busy lady. And when people come to you, what are the main health issues? Why a person would choose a naturopath versus a medical doctor versus some of the other modalities or practices?
Yeah, no, I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. From a general naturopath perspective, I would say a lot of patients are going to see a naturopath when they're not getting answers on like their primary health concerns. So big ones that I see are like headaches, gut issues. So that could be like bloating or heartburn, or it could be constipation, diarrhea, things like that. I also see patients coming in quite a bit, just inquiring about like mental health. So stress, anxiety, depression. It could be also like OCD, ADHD as well. Another big concern I also see is for sleep. So that could be like you don't feel rested when you wake up. Maybe you're having trouble falling asleep, or you can't stay asleep, many awakenings in the night. And because I do focus in hormonal health and women's health, I would say a lot of concerns coming into my practice are also women-related health concerns and hormone-related concerns too. So that could be like fertility, it could be pregnancy, it could be perimenopause or PCOS, PMS. Thyroid concerns as well as a big one in my practice. And because I do have a focus, a clinical focus, I do see the majority of those patients coming into my practice because they seek me out. So I'm seeing, as I said, I focus in women's health, hormones, gut health, and autoimmunity.
That's great. And, you know, as a woman, as women go through these various stages of our life, you said two things, and I want to kind of just drill down. The gut health, I think that's an interesting one. So many things can go wrong with the gut, I think affects so many other parts of our body. I've come to realize gut directly impacts my head. So if I'm having gut issues, it could spur on headaches or other ailments in the body that are coming directly from the gut. Can you expand on your knowledge around the gut? Because I do think that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I could talk about gut probably for like an hour.
but I'm
going to tell you in a nutshell. Absolutely. The gut is like the second brain. It's known as the second brain of the body because it's connected. It's connected to everything. Our gut is connected to every organ system in the body. Every cell talks to the gut. Every organ talks to the gut. It is a powerhouse. Now, when we think about gut-related issues, there's so many gut-related issues. It could be a condition that you're diagnosed with. It could be IBS. It could be IBD or SIBO, or it could be pancreatitis. It could be anything.
How about pylori?
Yeah, it could be H. pylori too, bacterial overgrowth, 100%. Right? And all of these can contribute to inflammation in your gut, maybe dysbiosis, meaning that your microbiome's not ideal. It can affect how well you're absorbing nutrients. Absolutely. But you could also have gut-related concerns that are just due to lifestyle factors. It could be due to maybe the food that you're eating. Maybe you're not eating nutrient-dense foods, not enough fiber in your diet to support that microbiome, or you're eating too quickly, or you're not eating mindfully, and that's causing your bloating. It could be due to maybe stress, like a whole other system, that your nervous system is affecting your your gut health. So it's so complex, but I would say that gut health is one of the biggest systems I work on in all of my patients because I often find it being affected in so many cases.
Interesting. And you also mentioned hormonal. So is that something that is more for aging women, the hormonal?
No, it's not just for aging women. Yeah, I have supported women and even men with hormonal concerns from when they're a young teen, maybe when they're like 10 years old, all the way to even if they're like 70 or 80 years old. So I've helped men and women through all different ages regarding hormones. It really depends on what the concerns are. But hormones, again, they're all connected to one another. Your thyroid's connected to your stress, and your stress is connected to your sleep hormones, so your melatonin, everything is linked. So hormonal health absolutely is complex, but if you think that you are going through a hormonal imbalance, it's really important to get a thorough assessment done because all of them can talk to one another.
Interesting. Wow. And you know, and you mentioned something too about people go to their doctors, they don't get the answers, and they go to you. So is that kind of frustrating? You're not the first go-to. It's kind of like you're down the list of, okay, I've tried here, I've tried here, I've tried here. Okay, now we're going to go to naturopath.
Yeah,
or is that changing where you're becoming more the go-to?
Good question.
I mean, that's a good question. I wouldn't say it's frustrating at all. I don't get frustrated if I'm the last choice or the first choice. It's nothing like that. But I have noticed that a lot of my patients coming in are actually seeking me to be their primary care provider or close to their primary care provider alongside their medical doctor. I feel that patients coming into my practice, there's a few patients that kind of come in. I either have patients who have had a great experience with the naturopath and they want to find a new one, or they want to really start their journey again. I also have patients who are just kind of tired out by maybe conventional care options and maybe with their medical care system, and they want to maybe consider an add-on approach that can work really great with their conventional care, or they want to do it separately. I also have patients coming in who maybe are on medications and they eventually want to like wean off of those medications or consider natural approaches. And then I have patients who are willing to put whatever money they have into this process and just really optimize their health. So I have a wide variety of patients coming in, but I see it as if I'm part of their journey. I feel grateful to be part of the process. I don't care where I'm in place. I don't care if I'm first or just 10th. It doesn't matter to me. Being a part of their health journey, I feel grateful that at least that they chose me. That's the way I see it.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Is the government subsidizing naturopath care?
So for us specifically, we're not covered under OHIP. We are privatized care. So if patients are coming to see me, they either have insurance or they're paying out of pocket. The government minimizes how much coverage you have with OHIP or anything like that. That doesn't necessarily affect us. Yes, it affects patient care. Like it affects their ability to take care of their health and seek practitioners and get their health concerns addressed. But when they come see us, we just try to work with their goals and really, and in this kind of case, if I have a patient coming to me and they're like, I haven't seen my dentist in a couple of years, I'm concerned about my teeth, I can provide that support for them if the government is not allowing them to do that. So I can check in on their physical health. I can provide recommendations to support their oral hygiene, their oral health as well. I try to fill in those gaps as much as possible.
Do you think that should be changed around the government's focus more on medical and not on a naturopath focus? They're investing in one form of healthcare, but not another. Do you think that is a real a blind spot or
Yeah, I mean, in ideal scenario, I would love it if we were OHIP covered. I would love it. Yeah. I feel that there's so much benefits that we can provide. And I feel that a lot of the benefits we would provide is in addition to the medical care system. We wouldn't be out competing them. We wouldn't be outshining them. It's not like that. The way I see it is that we could just make our patients' health better, right? If I have a patient coming to me with diabetes, yes, their medical doctor can prescribe metformin, and I can maybe work on their nutrition, their lifestyle. I can even give some herbal treatments that can work with metformin. So we can just make patient care better. I think right now with the government, it's really focused on conventional care, which is fine. It's absolutely fine because it's still providing care for patients. But I would love it if in the next 10 years or so, they're a little bit more open to really seeing the benefit we provide and being a part of that care as well. That care system would be ideal.
I think one of the things you said at the start, which is really important, it's a good distinguisher. You're looking at what the root cause is. And most of the time, doctors are there just to deal with what the symptom. I've got a pain in my side. Well, let's find out what the pain is and get rid of the pain. But they're not finding out really. They're not taking the time to really understand. So maybe there was childhood trauma. Okay, I wanted to ask you, do you also take into account, you talk about Chinese medicine, and that takes in much more of the mind, body, soul. The energy of the body. Do you get into any of that?
Oh, totally. I do work on that mind-body connection. Absolutely. And you're right. It's with medical doctors, they often have limited time with you, right? So they have 5 to 10 minutes with you. You come in, you're kind of seeing a concern, like saying, I have headaches. This is the pain medication. You're all good to go. They're also very burnt out. And I get that because they're just seeing so many patients in a limited amount of time. So when we have a practitioner like myself who can spend like 1 hour with patients or 75 minutes with patients, we can work with them, fill in those gaps and create a plan together. All I see is an opportunity for us to make patient care better, right? Because they are limited on time. They're so burnt out. They work so hard and we work hard as well, but we can really help fill in those gaps that patients are looking for. And we can make the healthcare system even better.
And what would you say is a common misconception around naturopathic?
I would say a really common misconception is that we are like pseudoscience. We're not based on evidence-based medicine. It's really not based on empirical care. That's a really big myth that I do see coming into my practice. And I often have to explain myself and say that, no, I'm gonna look at journal articles. I'm gonna look at PubMed. I'm looking for the best treatments that have been studied to support you. I would say that's probably the biggest misconception. And the other one that I do get in my practice is that I haven't actually been to med school. So it's actually a fun process to actually explain that I do have quite intensive education on many different condition symptoms and everything. And for me to really provide that insight just allows patients to understand me and my education and what I can provide them.
I'm learning a lot about your profession that was unknown to me before. I think it is waking me up to that there is a huge opportunity to raise awareness about what naturopaths really do and how and the journey that they got there to be educated and you know, the vast amount of knowledge and understanding to be able to tap into finding the solutions to better
100%.
health, better well-being. I think that is a misconception that I think, you know, the Naturopath Association, I don't know where the governing body that could help support or raise awareness, but I think there's certainly some opportunity and work there that could really help to elevate your profession. Maybe that's a business opportunity.
We do have a Kono who is part of our Ontario Board of Naturopaths, and they are very supportive on our journey. But absolutely, it's great to have a regulatory board that's there on your side to advocate for you.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's more women who are coming to naturopaths, or is it a split? Can you give us an idea?
That's a good question. I would say it's actually more women coming into my practice for sure. I do have cases where I do see men. That's totally possible. But I also feel that women pushing the men in their life because they had a great experience and they're saying, you should go see a naturopath and she fixed me and you have headaches or you have back pain. And, but I do often see the primary person coming in is usually a female coming into my practice for sure.
And are there more women than men as naturopaths?
I would say it's a more female dominant field for sure. I would say most NDs are probably women. I do think that's probably changing over the past couple of years though. And if I bring my graduate class in consideration, I had amazing male colleagues and they also have thriving businesses today as well. So I think that ratio has definitely changed and men are definitely more into the healthcare field. It's not just for myself, but even nurses. Like I'm seeing a lot of male nurses as well. I think it's definitely expanding for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. So I guess we didn't really touch on it a lot because you and I met up through a meetup. That was a great opportunity for you to engage with other women. It was very well done. I mean, it was a beautiful restaurant, beautiful venue. Everybody had an opportunity to voice or share their journey and exchange opportunity to meet each other. So what have you found works the best in acquiring new patients? Now I know you're with clinics because it's already that partnership. So sounds like the partnership is the number one for you. Is there and I know that you're doing the meetup. Is there anything else that you actively do? Like even with social media, you touched on that too. So
so I do all of that. Obviously, the partnerships with my clinics, doing inter-patient referrals too, having the other practitioners know what I do, what I focus on, so they know if they have a patient in front of them who has like hormone-related health concerns, they know to send them my way or consider me. So yes, social media, absolutely. I feel like social media has taken like such a big presence over so many businesses right now. So I think it is definitely a great way to get awareness, like not just me, but for a lot of people. So yeah, being on Instagram, being on Facebook, having Facebook pages and doing email lists, of course, absolutely. But I would say for my business specifically, I think the biggest thing that's made a difference for me is networking and connecting. For example, doing my meetups and meeting women, absolutely. But it's also by me meeting other practitioners, going out of my way to walk around the area, talk to other businesses, get them to understand what I do, where I work, and me to learn about their business. I also want to know where I can refer my patients for the best care. I want to know where is the best RMT, or where is the great dental office, or where is a great psychotherapist, or a marriage counselor for this couple I'm working with. So it's great for me to also learn about the amazing practitioners and people around my community. It's really developing that connection, so people can see me, my personality, and my passion and my vision that I want to have for my overall business. So I would say that's been the biggest impact for sure.
Wow, that's smart. That's really, because it is a community-based service. It's not like you're an eBay or an Amazon.
Yeah.
You're really like bricks and mortar. You're part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's really smart, is that being part of the community, you let other professions in that community, in that circle, get to know you, and you get to know them, so you can support one another. That's an excellent tip. And that's something that that I wouldn't have initially thought of, but it makes a lot of really smart sense to do.
Yeah. And we all have something special to offer too, right?
Yeah,
every business owner has a value. They're helping their ideal client, and it's just me just getting to know these people too, just as they're getting to know me. So, yeah, I do love that.
And you mentioned a really good point too, is specialization. There may be 5 different naturopaths, but each of them may be specialized in a different area. So that again, you know, the crossing over to support one another, or be able to differentiate. So, you know, you guys aren't all, you know, naturopaths aren't all doing the same thing the same way, but you know, you have a specialty that you can
exactly
stand up for. Okay.
Yeah, and I also refer patients to other NDs in a different clinical focus too, right? So if I have a cancer patient, I have a naturopath who I would refer a cancer patient to. So it's all about just helping each other. Yes, we're helping each other grow, but we're also making sure that our patients are in the best hands.
And Anita, do you have a question?
Or? No, I think you have a good question around how she keeps her inspiration up. So I'll let you ask that.
Yeah. And before I jump into that one, is that is there some things there that you wouldn't touch as a naturopath? There are so many different modalities out there, right? Like there's Reiki healing, crystals and color therapy. And are there certain things that you would just not touch, that you would advise against?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say a point on the Reiki part and like the crystals and everything. So Reiki, we actually don't do Reiki. There's actually a specific person that would do that. So I believe it's a Reiki master, and they're educated. They have their own program. Knowledge. I don't. For me, I don't do crystals or anything like that. We're not educated on that in school either. I think that's just more based on the naturopath and their spiritual journey and what they prefer to do. For me specifically, if I'm just considering all of the treatment, like the modalities that we studied in school. So that's like chiro, massage, acupuncture, so Chinese medicine, homeopathy, nutrition, and all of that. I would say that one I don't use, but I do see benefit with. I just don't use it a lot in my practice, depending on the patient cases in front of me. I don't think it's the best indicated one all the time, but it's homeopathy. I don't use homeopathy as much as I should, or in a lot of patient cases. I do use homeopathy more in children. So at my Young and Eglinton location, I do see quite a bit of kids. So I do use homeopathy for them. But when it comes to the main concerns that are coming into my practice, I don't use homeopathy as my first treatment option, but I have seen great benefits with it. Another one, just because I work with RMTs and chiros as well, I often tend to refer my patients to get a chiropractic adjustment or a massage. I do incorporate these if I'm doing acupuncture and things like that, or relieve a little bit of muscle tension. But if patients really looking for like chiropractic adjustments, I usually refer to someone who's just more experienced, more educated on it than I am.
You do adjustments of the spine like a chiropractor can? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in some ways competing with them too, because you're competing with all those other professions.
Yeah.
And all those different modalities.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy how much we can do now that I get back on it.
right.
We're educated so much, but it really just comes down to for us in our training. We are 100% well versed in all of these, but chiros also in RMTs, they have a 4-year program or they have a 3-year program, whereas I may be learning it in 1 year. So if I have a patient who's specifically looking for chiropractic adjustments, or they're looking for someone who is more experienced with over 5 or 10 years, then I'm okay, then maybe I'm not the best fit for you. Let me actually refer you to this practitioner. But if someone for sure wants me to do their chiropractic adjustments, I'm more than happy to, because we were educated on it and we can do it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So, we just had one other question
Sure.
as we're wrapping up things, and that is like we all get stuck sometimes along our journey, and what do you do to get yourself back and inspired and get your mojo back and your momentum back?
Yeah, that's something that I've been going through for sure. Absolutely, over these past 3 years, because being an entrepreneur, we're gonna have ups and downs, right? And there's gonna be highs, there's gonna be lows. So I'm with you there. I am really blessed that I have an amazing partner. He supports me through everything, but also I have an amazing family too. I feel like my family, my partner, they're my backbone. They pick me up when I'm down. I know that if I reach out to them, they would stop and do anything just to make me feel better. So they're for sure number one. For me personally, it's reminding myself in the moment that why am I waking up every day to do this? Why am I getting up every morning, getting dressed and going to work? And I ask myself that question when I'm down or when I'm feeling like, you know what, I'm not feeling as motivated. And how do I answer it? Yeah. So my answer is for that specifically is that I got into this program for one reason only, is to make myself feel better and to help my patients feel better. And I know what that felt like. And I remember that day like it was yesterday when I was in it was a 3rd-year class. I treated all of my symptoms and I felt so empowered. And I answered that by saying that I wake up every morning to make my patients feel empowered over their health, just like I was in my 3rd year of my program. I want them to feel good in their skin. I want them to feel healthy, and I want them to feel like hope is possible for their health. And the other reason what I do every day is that I want to be the health advocate for them that they deserve. Not everybody has the best access to healthcare. And this is in Ontario, it's around the world, Canada, wherever you are, everyone deserves to have a doctor or a health practitioner to support them. And if I can be that person for someone who's at a low and they need that kind of encouragement, then I'll be there.
Yeah, beautiful. And it is kind of sad that in our country, there's millions of people that don't have doctors.
Yeah.
They don't have, and
it's still a problem. I mean, we don't want to get into all the kind of bad things around our healthcare. I know that other countries have different healthcare and there may be in worse situations. So I think we have to be grateful that we can get in and get to see a doctor for the most part. It may be a long wait, but I think what you're offering, I think over the years, I think naturopath is going to be more of a go-to than it is, than it has been. So I look forward to that day, because I do think looking at somebody holistically makes so much more sense.
100%.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
And I hope the government finds some subsidies, not just putting it all in the more conventional ways, but provide subsidies for naturopaths as well, so that people can have greater access to what you offer as well. So we're not just limited to the prescription drugs. So thank you so much. Thank you again, Ishana. We really appreciated it. I learned a lot and how important it is to entrench yourself into the community, and your attitude towards servitude is really opens the door to people feeling that you care. And I sincerely believe you do. So thank you for that. If somebody wants to learn more about naturopath or the services you offer, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, no, for sure. So you could definitely follow my social media. So my Instagram, drshanipatel.nd. I have a Facebook page as well. I also have an email that you can reach out to me if you're inquiring about services or about fees or just about anything in regards to health. My email is my first name, last name, the letters nd@gmail.com. So you're more than welcome to reach out to me there. And again, you can, and if you have any questions or you need this contact information, I'll also give it to you both as well, so you can pass it over if needed.
Okay, great. So if somebody wants to reach out to have a meet with you for a patient consultation, they can contact you through direct message through social media.
Yeah. And on my Instagram, there's a direct booking link. I have my Linktree link, so you can book a direct appointment there, or you can reach out to the clinics I'm part of and you can book an appointment through them as well.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you. That's awesome. Join us again for another fabulous guest whose journey is sure to inspire us. With the courage and knowledge to bring your ideas to life, get ready to jump into it. Thank you for listening. At Jump Into It, we empower business owners, marketers, and entrepreneurs to turn their dreams into reality. Want to supercharge your marketing efforts? Grab Jump Into It Breakthrough Marketing Guide, now available on Amazon. Uncover how to stop wasting time and money and create effective marketing strategies that deliver results with no more guesswork. Ready to take it further? Join our expert-led training at 360integralmarketing.com and get practical tools you can use right away. Don't miss out. Tune in to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple TV for exclusive insights. Stay ahead of the game. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. With the courage and knowledge to bring your ideas to life, get ready to jump into it.